Welcome to the EOY Advanced Training for Experienced CALPADS users. My name is Sulaiman Ahmed. I'm one of the field support specialists here at Figma CSIS, and today with me is the entire training team assisting us. In this training, we will provide a brief overview of the EOY submissions and go over the EOY changes for this year. The CSIS training model is designed to be segmented and provide organization of specific topics and concise delivery. And so we aim to provide focused trainings with relevant information and instruction. This slide reflects the CALPADS course catalog. In the top, we have the various subject areas and their respective programs shown below each one. And the first three skill areas contain programs that are the prerequisite for the data collection programs and the EOY Advanced, which is part of the end of year 1 and 2 reporting and certification that you're watching today. We also have the skill building programs consisting of courses which are available in self-paced format that you may have viewed before, or you have the ability to do so on the CSIS YouTube channel. So we expect experienced CALPADS data coordinators to be attending this session. If you are new to CALPADS, we strongly recommend that you attend the regular EOY reporting and certification trainings, as this session's main focus is really on the changes only, and we would not be discussing too much the data requirements and population in this course. On this slide are the objectives for this session. By the end of this course, participants will be able to identify the changes for EOY 1 through 2 submissions and learn about the changes and establish a submission strategy that works best for your LEA and coordinate with other staff to ensure everyone is aware of the new changes. And lastly, certify EOY 1 and 2 on time or before the final submission deadlines for each submission. And in support of the CSIS mission of increasing local capacity among our LEAs, our trainings have a focus on skill development. So throughout this training and other trainings that you'll be attending, we will provide information and guidance to help you develop some of the skills shown on this slide in the bottom here that are mapped to the different objectives for this course. And here's the agenda for this training. We will discuss the following. We will start with a very brief highlight of both end of year 1 and 2, and then we will jump right into the changes section and go into the details of this year's EOY changes. And we will go over reviewing the certification process. And then after that, we will go over some common problems. And finally, we will wrap up this session with some important key points and reminders. So let's talk about some key dates, and we will also discuss additional milestone dates at the end of this session. But this year, as you may have already heard in previous trainings and conferences, the EOY submissions have been consolidated into 2 data submissions, which we will cover in detail a little bit later on in the changes. But as a result, something unique has happened. That is, some of the milestone dates are now different for each submission, and this slide highlights that. So the reporting period is the same for both end of year 1 and 2, and it's for the entire span of the academic year, starting from July 1st of 2025 until June 30th of 2026. The zero data discrepancy and certification fatal error milestone date is different. For end of year 1, that date is June 26, 2026. And for end of year 2, it's a little bit later on August 3rd, 2026. And the same is true for the EOY certification deadlines. EOY 1 has a certification deadline of July 17th, and end of year 2 has a final certification deadline of August 17, 2026. Now, as far as amendment windows, end of year 1 has a short amendment window, and it runs from July 18th until July 31st. But End of year 2 does not have an amendment window. So as you can see, the final certification deadline for EOY 2 is August 17, 2026. And the graduation cohort cutoff date will remain August 15 in order that students graduating in the summer to be included in the 2025-2026 four-year adjusted cohort graduation rate. This means end of year certification deadline and the pull of data for the adjusted cohort graduation rate have been recoupled again, unlike previous years. And as a result, there now shouldn't be a difference between the certified count of graduate and completers and those included in the four-year adjusted cohort graduation rate. These dates could change, although we haven't seen too many changes in the deadline dates and whatnot in recent years. But all of these dates and other important dates are reflected on the CALPADS calendar page on CDE's website, and the URL for that webpage is provided at the bottom here. Let's spend a couple of minutes talk about some end of year prep work that is ahead for you. You want to start off with auditing your CalPads accounts and roles and ensure that the new role that I will be pointing out a little bit later on related to EOY reports is assigned to those that need it in your LEA, and determine the stakeholders you need to collaborate with and review the upcoming EOY changes internally with. And also you would want to build an end of year calendar using the EOY task list that is now published on the EOY roadmap page, and that URL is provided in the lower right corner of the screen here for you. And also update your student enrollment information now, which is the foundation data for all the students, right? And establish an error correction strategy with your SPED coordinator to make sure that they get the help that they need from you when they're resolving SPED-related errors in CalPads. And again, clear your errors, your data discrepancy, as well as your certification errors for both EOY 1 and end of year 2 by those milestone dates that are shown on this slide. On the local systems activities side, you would want to verify that Human Resources Department has updated the staff demographics data, and audit your SIS records to ensure that the required data are populated, and run validations locally in your student information system before uploading your files to CalPads to catch any kind of discrepancies and fix them ahead of time to avoid any confusion with errors in CalPads. So these are some of the steps that you can take to prepare for end of year now.